When I say an ideal or complete side character, what comes to mind? Is it one who adds comic relief to the story, one who antagonizes the main character, or one who maybe catalyzes the progression of the storyline? All of these make an ideal side character by idea of archetype, but after watching Puss in Boots a few days ago, I came to wonder, did this movie just revolutionize the idea of what a side character is capable of in an animation, or do I just have a thing for cute dogs? Well, this is why I feel Perrito is the ideal side character. By the way, this video was inspired by a fellow YouTuber. His name is Hallo. He makes some top class videos. Please go check him out after you've watched this video. Let's get back into it. To uncover what makes Perrito an ideal side character, I needed to first gain professional understanding of what makes a side character. I could have easily hopped on to the Department of Literature in my university, but I did not do that. Why? Because I'm lazy. Instead, I got help from a more prominent bank of information, that is, Google. By this definition, a supporting character or side character is a character who isn't the main focus in the story, but instead supports the protagonist to ultimately help them achieve their goal, have a transformation, or move the story forward. With this definition in mind, the first out of 3 reasons why I feel Perrito is an ideal side character is comic relief. Comic relief has been around since the beginning of storytelling. You have a character that is strategically placed in scenes to break tension and lighten up the mood for the audience. Comic relief can be great, but it gets a bit annoying when overly exaggerated. But in Perrito's case, it's not exaggerated at all. Paul Fisher and Tommy Swedlow, the writers, wrote Perrito's character to be a sense of comic relief, but not in a way where it's too much or too cliche. In animation, we've come to be acclimatized to the idea of comic relief being portrayed with a side character playing the fool. One who acts like their brain cells have been vigorously stripped out of their heads and they are just managing that one brain cell left. As odd as it is, such side characters actually work, like in the case of Dory from Finding Nemo or Olaf from Frozen. These 2 characters are written to be like this to utter perfection, and evidently they have garnered huge fan bases from the way they were characterized. Although what I will say is Dory is written to be more versatile and helps to impact the storyline, while Olaf is just straight up dumb. We can observe how comic relief is being portrayed in the case of Perrito. He is written to be oblivious most of the time to tones in certain scenes, like the characters around him can be fully invested and participating in a sequence of events, while he seems absolutely clueless about the events happening around him. An example is when the chase with Jack Horner started and everyone in the scene were at 100 and fully invested in this life or death kind of situation. But you see Perrito talking about his sandwich and how he's Puss's best friend. If you noticed, one of the fiery arrows did pass Perrito's head, to which he was on fire, but there was no reaction at all from Perrito. Oblivious, like I said. Now, another instance to how he's used to portray comic relief is he is written to be indifferent to things people say or do to him. It's kind of like he sees things the way he wants to see them. Same goes with his approach and interactions with characters on screen. Like his constant fixation to get Puss to rub his belly, despite Puss declining the offer on different occasions. Or how he can't get that baby was not playing with him and was threatening to kill him. But oddly, he changes such an eerie scene to feel funny and light-hearted for the audience. By making such a character indifferent, nonchalant, and thick-skinned, you also give room for dark humor, which I think has not been used to the best extent in mainstream animations today. Because of Perrito's thick-skinned nature, the writers had room to make dark backstories that, if said by Puss or Soft Paws, will sound sad or grim. But when these backstories and experiences are being said by Perrito, it becomes funny due to how clueless he is to what is supposed to be sad. Like, tell me a DreamWorks character that starts off his near-death experience with "It's a funny story." Perrito's ability to be oblivious and indifferent to tones in most scenes makes for some funny moments without him actually trying to be funny. With that, we can understand that a side character's ability to portray comic relief or to be funny does not need to be exaggerated. It's all about how you write the character that gives the impression to the audience that what is not supposed to be funny is funny because it involves that character, if that actually makes any sense. So, the next reason that makes Perrito an ideal side character is his ability to be independent of the main character, which is Puss. This is not a traditional way to see side characters being written, maybe with the exception of antagonists or villains, but still, it's not traditional. You generally don't get to see this trait in animations. Like take Russell from the movie Up. Russell's defining quality in that movie is to be incessantly annoying to Carl. Now all that is fine, but can you remember a scene where Russell stood out without interacting with Carl? I'm not sure I can. I'm not saying it's bad writing. The side character should be dependent on the main character. It's normal. But personally, I like it when a side character is able to still catch the attention of the audience without the main character being on screen, even if it's just for a split second. Perrito does this in the scene where he was interacting with the bears and Goldilocks. We clearly observe the situation as dangerous, but he is written to be oblivious and almost not afraid of the events around him. He thrives with the bears and Goldilocks in what was supposed to be a tense scene, and he does so without Puss or Soft Paws being present on screen. Personally, I love to see such a trait being displayed by side characters. This is the same reason why I love Olaf from Frozen. He's able to still capture the audience's attention without Elsa or Anna being present on screen. The last reason that makes Perrito an ideal side character is his ability to progress or catalyze the story. This is more common when writing a side character in an animation. Perrito is the reason why everything falls to place in the story. He serves as a bridge connecting the different instances of growth we see in Puss's journey. There are two characters that are always on screen with Perrito, that is Puss and Soft Paws. Puss is an arrogant, proud, self-obsessed cat, whereas to be able to change that already established characterization, you need a character that is able to transform Puss's ideas and beliefs, to which Perrito does that ever so well. He shows Puss and Soft Paws what it means to trust and forgive. At first, it looked to the characters around him that he was mentally demented, but the more the story progressed, we saw a transformation of both Puss and Soft Paws. Perrito was also written to kill the tension between Puss and Soft Paws. These are two emotional characters who have dark history with each other. It's only natural that tension will run high between these two characters, but Perrito is able to cut through that with the cringy but yet sweet one-liners and his approach to different events that happen around them. For me, the most beautiful scene from the movie was when Death chased Puss into the woods and Perrito found him and stayed by his side to calm him down. Mind you, this was the same Puss that did not want to rub Perrito's belly, but now was petting Perrito. This evidently shows the transformation of the main character, hugely influenced by a side character. Perrito influences the story even beyond Puss, because without him, I don't think Soft Paws would realistically be able to work with Puss. It was because of Perrito, Puss was able to say he's sorry to Soft Paws for the events that happened in Santa Coloma. His influence even goes down to the end of the movie, where the new memories of Puss on his adventures with Soft Paws and Perrito alleviates the fear that he had to face death. So these reasons I enumerated makes Perrito the ideal, perfect, and complete side character. Okay, that's the end of the video. Honestly, thank you for watching. This one took me time to make because I had to understand a bit of literature first before I got into making this video. So please do subscribe and like if you loved what you watched. God loves you and I love you too. Bye bye.